Moving on to topic 2, let's talk about some upcoming video game releases. So, via GameSpot, I have the upcoming 2023 game release schedule. Obviously, we're rounding the near the end. We're going to be having Game of the Year discussions. We got, obviously, Elden Ring was in everybody's hands months and months ago. We got God of War Ragnarok coming out very, very soon. We got Cult of the Lamb, which was the indie darling surprise, and a lot of other titles that have been, making some waves in the game circles. So we got Game of the Year coming up, but I wanted to look past that for now and just kind of talk about what I'm looking forward to and what I'm excited about coming into the next year, and maybe see what else is coming out next year that I may have forgotten about, because there's a lot of games always. So as for January, there's not too much that's standing out to me. Like, obviously the new Dead Space, or the remaster Dead Space, does come out in January. And as well as Forspoken, which I will say I'm a little bit interested in Forspoken. It's kind of this like fantasy role-playing game where you take the role of this girl who was in current day, like present day, real world, and somehow gets transferred into this fantasy world and kind of has to help this civilization fight off this evil force. Graphically, it looks amazing. It did get delayed, but hopefully, that helps fix some bugs or helps them kind of polish the product that they want. So I'm excited to see how that does play out. I don't know if I'm not chomping at the bit at it, but I'm looking to see how that plays and maybe grabbing that at some point. Dead Space, I'm just happy for the people who enjoy that series. Obviously, Callisto Protocol coming out very, very soon. So hopefully this can deliver for them, similar to how the old titles did with 1, 2, and 3. As for February, one I've been interested in quite some time. I know it's a little bit shrouded in controversy just because of the initial author, but Hogwarts Legacy looks amazing. Looks awesome. Has nothing to do with Harry Potter specifically in his story, but seeing the way that the spell combat works in this game and just the amount of different scenery and monsters and whatnot that you're going to have to deal with as a student in Hogwarts and learning everything just looks so fun. Like I said, I totally get, the controversy with JK and her thoughts, which is definitely not the way to go. Development wise, they did have one developer that wasn't great either, but they released him. So I do want to still support this team. It seems like they are trying, like it's a lot of passion going into this project, and they are seemingly going against the grain of what JK said. I believe you can make a trans character in this game. So happy to see that. Everybody, do what you want to do, obviously, if you don't feel this is right, because obviously she's still going to get some royalties, blah, 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 and you don't want to support that. I get that. Personally, I'm looking forward to the experience. I'm going to play it, and I guess you can say it's a conscious move, but like, if I feel like getting this game and then making a donation to one of those causes that helps trans rights and people in those situations, I think that will be the correct move, at least for this project. But Hogwarts Legacy coming out in February on the 10th. Excited to give that a shot. As for February, there's a lot of other stuff on here, but nothing's calling out to me specifically. March. So far, we got 6 stuff, at least based on this GameSpot article. Wulong Fallen Dynasty. I don't know if this is one I'll play, but I think I'll definitely watch. It's kind of like a Chinese based, like, not Bloodborne, but like Souls game. Looks kind of interesting. Very beautiful. Big open areas and fighting. But yeah, I think that will be one I just watch some content creators play. So interested to see how that plays out. And then RE4 Remake. I've been on the Resident Evil kick since giving RE7 a try. And that was my first entry personally of me playing Resident Evil. So from playing RE7 to going to RE2 Remake to RE3 to RE Village, excited to jump into Resident Evil 4. I know this is where it got a little bit more action orientated, so I'm not sure how I'll like it. Obviously, I'll like it gameplay wise, but from a Resident Evil experience, it seems like I've leaned towards the spooks a little bit more, of being like, yes, this is what I want, even though I am shitting my pants while playing these. I'm excited to see where this game goes, and it looks great so far. And maybe see how they change some things and in their storytelling with the whole cult kind of story that they did have. In May, they do have Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, aka Breath of the Wild 2, coming out on the 12th. I haven't played the first one, watched a little bit of it, but I don't think I have any interest in that. And they don't have anything specifically announced for the second half of the year, but they do have like a TBA kind of section, so I'll kind of read through that, or at least scan through it and see if there's anything that stands out to me. I think Marvel's Midnight Suns comes out in February as well. I think. Don't quote me on that. I am looking forward to that. That might... When? Okay, hold on. I got the internet browser up. Let's use the power of Google and be smart. When is Marvel's Midnight Suns come out? If you hear the keyboard, I do apologize, because that one I am looking forward to, and I think I've talked about in the podcast in the past. So obviously I'm a big Marvel fan, but the gameplay is very strategic, and it is like XCOM based. So I think turn-based and tactical and stuff like that. So I'm not sure 100% if I'll like that. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched a gameplay trailer, and I've been meaning to. But I'm interested to give it a try. So as far as their site, it just says pre-order. My dude. No, I don't want the... When is it? Just tell me when it comes out. Okay, doesn't say. I think the initial release was 2022, but that might come out next year. So I am looking forward to that and giving that a try. But like I said, I should do some research first, at least gameplay-wise, see if it's fully my thing, or if it's just like, oh, it's got Marvel on it. I'll buy it. So let's see. Let's start going through their TBAs in terms of games that will be coming out. Oh, Diablo 4 is coming out. I tried 3, played that through with Super Killer Bunny and Lady in Wonderland. I personally didn't like it, and that may be because we just sped through it, but I know Lady is heavily looking forward to that and very excited. We do have the sequel to Final Fantasy VII's remake, so Rebirth, coming out. I think that's part 2, because there's that other one, Rebirth is part 2, because you got the that other spin-off game with Zack comes out soon as well. I think that one comes out in December, and then part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out like next holiday. Obviously, that's part of my backlog is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played through half of the game, did really enjoy my experience with it, but then just me being dumb, I got sidetracked with, the new shiny thing that had come out at the time. So I do want to dive back into that, kind of see what all the hubbub is with the story. Obviously, people have loved Final Fantasy VII for years, originally released on the PS1. They changed some stuff with the remaster, remake. I don't know the difference. I just know one character's thing, but it seems like there's some decent changes in there. So I'm excited to dive into that series and that game again and see where it continues in Rebirth. But I got some time for that. But we'll see how that plays out. What else do we got? Okay, Marvel's Midnight Suns they do have here. Oh, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac. Absolutely looking forward to that game. Why won't Sony show us more? Is it all this Xbox business that Jeff and I debated about, oh, we're buying Call of Duty and Activision? They're like, oh, we can't show anything cool because the people who we're going to court with, they'll be like, oh, yeah, you got stuff. You're fine. Where the fuck is this PlayStation Direct? It was supposed to, or State of Play should have happened in September. I've been hearing about it like, oh, it's going to happen. Oh, it's going to happen. Oh, it's going to happen. And apparently, obviously it hasn't happened. I want more. The little teaser we got with Miles and Peter fighting it out, and then Venom in the alleyway with potentially Kraven doing the VO over that. It's just like, both games are fantastic. Miles was a little bit of a shorter experience, which I wasn't a big fan of. I wish it kind of been a little bit longer, but overall gameplay wise and the story they did tell were great. Just looking forward to more of Spider-Man and seeing what enemies, villains pop up in that experience. Obviously, we know Venom, the rumor of Kraven. We'll have to see. We got some teases, obviously, at the end of some things. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't played it, but if you haven't played Spider-Man and Miles, get the fuck on it. So I'm excited to see where that tease goes. And very, very excited. Let's get on that, Sony. Let's show some more stuff. Moving Out 2, Moving Out 1 was fun. Why not more? I know we tried that on Extra Life, and I was a little bit grumpy just because it was early in the morning, but playing it fully rested and on my own, Moving Out was a good time. So excited to jump into that again with Moving Out 2 and have some fun trying to solve those puzzles and running around in the chaos of moving furniture and whatnot. I saw Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 could be fun. I played it here and there with 1 and 2 at friends' houses, and I enjoyed the multiplayer a hell of a lot, I'll tell you that much. Oh, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is another great one. So this is the sequel to Fallen Order. Loved Fallen Order. Loved it. Boy, is it difficult at the beginning, but once you kind of get the grasp of everything and kind of upgrade Cal Kestis and learn the ways of the Jedi, just like, bro, flying through that game. I wish that Platinum was easier. It's not even that difficult. It's just the map sucks and the navigation. But I'm very much looking forward to Jedi Survivor. You just make more of that game that was involved in Fallen Order and just give me just more of that experience. I'm all for it. Hopefully there's a way that you can keep your labor. I'm combining words here. Your lightsaber customization going into the second game, because by the end of the first one, spoiler alert, you can pretty much fully customize your lightsaber. Obviously, along the way, you can change colors, but you will progressively get from your single saber to a double saber to your dual bladed saber. You can fully customize that towards the end of the game, and I'm hoping that carries over into the next one. But just getting to that point in the game was so rewarding and just felt like a moment. A lot of fun. Very, very excited for that one. We have Street Fighter 6. Boy, howdy, do I suck at Street Fighter, but I'm excited to jump into this and learn, hopefully, how to be better at Street Fighter from, some friends like Dio, like Danny. Just go play with them. I know from the FGC, the fighting game community, they always say, practice mode. Bro, training room is so boring, and I'm not one of those people who goes in and works on combos just on the bot or on the bag or tries to figure out frame rate and all that jazz. Obviously I like getting better and I like playing the games, but for me, I think it's from a user experience, player versus player. Shout out to TJ, like him and I playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, just for hours and hours, and Mortal Kombat, learning things that way. So way much more fun than the training room stuff. So learning from these guys and playing with them, I think will be more exciting. I've talked about it with Street Fighter V with them, but I feel like I'm way late to the party with that because I know these guys have been playing that game for years and years and competing with it, and I feel like I'll just go in there and I'm either going to bore the shit out of them or they're going to wipe the floor with me. And at least Street Fighter 6 will be a fresh experience. So looking forward to diving into that. So far, graphically, it looks amazing, and it looks like they're adding a lot of TLC back into the series. I know 5 had a bit of a rough launch, but the experiences that I've seen that they are adding to this title looks phenomenal. So excited to jump into Street Fighter 6 when that does launch. Lately, we've been talking about Gotham Knights and kind of the Arkham series. We do have Rocksteady's new title of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, coming out next year. That was actually supposed to release this year, but had some delays involved with that. Excited to try that out just because Rocksteady hasn't made anything since Arkham Knight back in 2015, 2016, I think. And I've talked about it before, but I love the Arkham games. So I'm not the biggest fan of the Suicide Squad and like their IP, but I am excited to hopefully experience more of that gameplay, even if it is different characters. If it is something like maybe an Arkham Asylum, where there's all these things that I can collect to kind of learn and have the world built around me so I can learn more about these characters and become more invested, then I'm down. But overall, the story seems cool, with the Justice League getting corrupted by something, and you, as the Suicide Squad, seemingly having to take them down. From the limited gameplay that they did show off months ago at this point, did look cool, did look great, and exciting. So looking forward to see more and see where that story takes place, or how that story takes place. Oh, Plucky Squire, another indie sensation that just like came out of nowhere. So it's being published by Devolver Digital. So same guys who published Inscription and Cult of the Lamb. This one looks really cool just based on art style alone. It is a 2D, 3D kind of blend, similar to a Tinykin. But this one, you kind of like almost Paper Mario yourself, like go into these 2D planes and battle out different, enemies, but then you can pop out of that plane and enter the 3D world of this child's like bedroom, and you're going through this like action adventure. If you haven't seen the trailer, I highly recommend it. But yeah, it was one of those ones, like a lot of indie titles, just because of, unfortunately, the press around them doesn't get a lot of attention. This was one that took me by surprise and just like, oh my god, what is this? It looks amazing. So yeah, Plucky Squire, looking forward to that. I think that was announced around E3 time. Wolf Among Us 2, been looking forward to that, like I'm sure a lot of people have for many, many years. I will admit, I loved Wolf Among Us when, thanks to Nolan, shout out to him, he gifted that to me for the PC. Do I remember how things went in that game? No. I think I played that, maybe around the same time with Street Fighter V, with 2015, 2016, Arkham Knight. Yeah, I think I streamed that out in California when I was there. Potentially, maybe even before. It was a great game. It's like a, not choose your adventure, but it's that kind of like narrative storytelling experience where you're in these fables. So, Snow White and those characters, but it's very dark and gritty, and you're a werewolf cop kind of trying to solve these mysteries and murders and crimes that are happening, and based on your choices things will go certain ways. But yeah, this is made by a new studio because the original studio unfortunately went under, but has some of those writers and developers hired onto the project. So excited to see where that goes. I'll probably have to replay through the first one, which isn't a bad thing, but just to kind of know what the fuck is going on. But excited to experience that, and hopefully those people who've been waiting for it forever, hopefully they have a good time with it and enjoy themselves as well. And yeah, that wraps up the GameSpot article for at least the next year releases. You guys let me know in the comment section down below what games are you looking forward to in the next year, or maybe what's even in your backlog, like me, quite a bit that you need to catch up on. So 2023, maybe that's our year. Maybe that's our year we catch up a little bit more with the backlog. But this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me today and chatting and just kind of hanging out. If you guys ever want to catch the podcast live, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma911 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You're joining the chat like Rainbow and Papa Griff did today. I'd love to have you in on the conversation, but if you can't catch it live, that is A-okay. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, wherever you guys are watching, listening, whatever it may be, if you could help us out, leave a comment, leave a review, give us some feedback, go to the merch store, buy something that looks cool. You know, any way you can support, it may seem small, but it does go a long way, and just helps us out overall be better, get some more eyes and ears on this, and have a good time. So thank you for doing that. We appreciate you. Hope you guys had fun with today's episode. Not bad. 2 topics, short, sweet. Appreciate you guys hanging out today, giving this a watch, giving it a listen, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.